Welcome to the Pot of Gold podcast, where we talk about finances, wealth generation, and real estate investing. Today we have on the show Mike Anderson. How are you doing today, Mike?
Doing good. How you doing, Nathaniel?
Hey, not too bad. It's glad to have you here on the show.
Yeah, great to be here, man.
So why don't you tell our audience here a little bit about yourself, and we can kind of go from there.
Ooh, a little bit about myself. Where should I start? So I am a serial entrepreneur, as my wife would describe me. So I've started half a dozen businesses in the time that she's known me, and I've worked for a construction company most of my life. My family owns a little commercial general contracting company in Utah, and that's my kind of my work background. And then I have a daughter who is 18 months old today.
Hey, that's cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. So
it's very exciting. My son's a little over 18 months old, so right about that same age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you say your family had a construction company, and you like to start all kinds of different businesses.
Yeah.
Is that just kind of see what sticks, or?
Kind of mostly. I have different ideas at different times, do different things. So I've got a trucking company that basically all we do is lease trucks to my brother's construction company.
Okay.
And then I've had a real estate business that I rented units out of houses that I've owned in the past. And I've had an Amazon business. I helped my wife start. She does promotional products. So anything you've ever seen a logo on, embroidery, hats, shirts, jackets, or any kind of print, pens, golf balls, golf clubs, any of that. She does it all.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, though.
Pretty awesome. So,
personally, the thing I really like about entrepreneurship is that you can basically choose what you want to focus on.
Yeah.
And then if you're clever enough, you can learn how to make a profit off of it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So then I've started moving into other aspects of real estate and stuff. I have a little consulting and lending company that I own, and then I'm actually starting up a partnership with a couple of other people in the creative community right now, working on kind of building a hub where people can come bring a deal, or if they want to put money into real estate and stuff like that, they can come and we will put them together. We go through the deal, look at all the different stuff in it, and then offer it to them to come in and join with it. So,
okay, so if I understand that correctly, what you're basically doing is you're doing all the legwork to make it easier for people to do investing in real estate, and that way they don't have to go out and drive for dollars or do cold calls or anything. You just say, hey, we found this deal that looks like it'd be profitable, and then you present them the benefits and the risks, and then it's easy for them. They just bring the money to the table.
Yeah. Okay. So it would be what we're doing isn't like we're bringing somebody in to acquire the deal. It's somebody who has a deal that they need help closing it. Generally looking for funding, things like that. So then they bring their deal to us, and we go through it all, make sure all the numbers jive, make sure, everything's squared away on it. And then we go find somebody who just wants to put money into a deal or be a partner on a deal or something like that, and bring them together so that they can, the one person brings the funding, the other person brings the deal, and we work it out. There's a lot of different ways we can do it. So we can do partnerships where they could get a piece of it. We can do just straight returns where after a certain amount of time they get paid back their money plus some type of thing. So that's what we're focusing on.
But basically it's you said it's for funding for other people's deals that they've already basically found and have committed to.
Yeah.
And so this would be things for like someone wants to fix and flip a property, and you bring the funding, and then they kind of pay you for allowing them to use your money.
Yeah.
Get the gist of that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So what's that called?
So it's called Drop Off Your Deals. So we have a website all set up, and two of my partners have a Facebook group that they're running, where they're doing actually a little podcast and stuff going through it, and they're doing challenges and things to help people grow their real estate businesses and stuff like that too. So we're really trying to focus on building not just our own stuff, but building the community around us as we're doing this, with education, with, bringing people into deals, helping people get their first deals, helping people just get their hands on something that they can look at, because you learn far, far more from doing than you do from just listening, right?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. Funny story about myself. When I was a little boy, I got my very first bicycle, and I was so excited. And I'd get on it, and I'd try to drive it with those little training wheels.
Yeah.
And I'd fall over every single time. I could not get the hang of that stupid bicycle. But the moment my parents took my training wheels off, I was good. And I was able to adjust to the balance and learn how to drive the bike. What was going on was I couldn't get around this idea that I needed to rely on the training wheels to correct my balance for me. And so once we took that out of the way, I was able to learn exactly what was needed to adjust for myself instead of expecting the training wheels to catch me. And I think that happens a lot in a lot of other things in life.
Oh, that is a deep story. I like stories like that. It's like this totally mundane thing that taught me this big lesson in life.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
There's a lot of things like that growing up throughout my life that I don't know. I think there are a lot of lessons in life that you have to learn yourself.
Yeah.
As much as other people try to teach them to us, you have to go through the experience. And it's like, I'm trying to think of how you'd explain it. It requires your own sweat and blood in order for it to be a genuine lesson.
No school teaches better than the school of hard knocks.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly the case. So I'm excited for that. That's really cool. You get to help people get out there and get their hands dirty, make mistakes, and be in a community that's going to support them. Even if you're making mistakes, you have people there to kind of lift you up, even in those scenarios. I like that. Very cool.
Yeah. That's what.
So how exactly did you get started with all that? I mean, I know your family's part of construction, but is this like something completely different, or are they connected together?
So this is something completely different. So, I mean, construction, we deal with all kinds of different projects and properties and things like that. So, the construction background definitely helps because I can show up and I haven't done really any work with like actual build, like the framing and stuff like that. As far as my work goes, I've done a bunch of remodels with my brothers and stuff. Like I've helped every one of my brothers at some point in their life remodel a house.
Well, that's kind of fun.
So
how many brothers do you have? Let's kind of get an idea of.
I have 4 older brothers.
Okay, so at least 4 different times, right? 4 different remodels.
I am the youngest. I lived with one of my older brothers for several years, a couple of different times actually, when I was younger. But yeah, so I know how to do some of that stuff just from that. But as far as like actual construction goes, we do a lot of like everything else for commercial. So you buy a empty property, you need to, clear it all. You need to put utilities in. You need to have all your stuff tied in properly with the city, with the building, with all this different stuff. And then, you work from the ground up, right? So our company does everything from the blank land to when the building goes vertical. So we do structural walls, we do paving, we do concrete flat work, we do
Okay.
dirt work, utilities, all that stuff. So, and I've been involved with it since the very, very beginning when we very first started it over 20 years ago.
Well, and I imagine that kind of
So,
helps you be understanding if someone presents you a deal where they're doing a fix and flip, whether their numbers are completely off or not, right?
oh yeah, yeah.
Because
Well,
you have the
and their
background.
time frames. Their time
Gotcha.
frames is one of the big ones. As I've had a lot of people with fix and flips that have come to me and been like, "Hey, I'm doing this fix and flip, and I need the money for the fix for 4 months." And I'm like, "Let me see your scope of work." And I look at their scope of work, and they're like gutting the building and rebuilding it. And I'm like, in 4 months, you're not going to replace the appliances in that house. Like, you know, you got to order that stuff out, and a lot of places are
They
short on it,
a little
and have been
overly
for,
optimistic in a lot of cases,
yeah,
huh?
exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so it's like, you're looking at that, and I'm like, you might get material delivered by month 3. So,
No doubt,
and
yeah.
if you're contracting it out, I mean, if you let your contractor know right now, you might get them in month 3 to do it, but it's going to take them more than a month to finish, and you've still got to get permits, and permits can take 4 months to get your permit.
And that's through like the city and the county and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're looking at when I'm looking at these deals, and they're like, they haven't even talked to the city yet about what they're planning on doing. I'm like, yeah, you need 8 months, not 4, to do that in, because you're going to be 4 months getting everything set up, and then you're going to be another 2 months getting it actually done, maybe an extra month on top of that to button everything up, and then you're going to be a couple of months to sell it. So, yeah, you look at it that way, and it's like, yeah, people want to move fast. They want to do it quicker. And the more seasoned fix and flippers, they've set up systems where they can move it that
Where they
fast.
can, because they've got a lot of practice,
Yeah, and
Okay.
or they have their own in-house contractor that they do the scheduling for. They have somebody in the city that they have worked with before that can push through permits for them, stuff like that. And that stuff all needs to be taken into consideration when you're looking at a deal. And a lot of people, they have no idea how any of that works.
Well, when you're first starting out, you don't know what you don't know either.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so,
Exactly.
that's what's cool about things like this, or like, say, your life experiences, is that as we connect together in our endeavors and kind of work together, then we can kind of, I don't know, spot patch those knowledge gaps.
Yeah.
And so you can do better right off the bat. And so the idea that you're going to kind of help build up the community in that way is really cool, because that'll help a lot of people who are looking to get into doing things be aware of those things and not make those mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, yeah, it's funny because a lot of people look at business and stuff like that, and they think it's this big competition, that you don't want to give another person a leg up because then it'll take away from your business. But it's actually exactly the opposite. We are always stronger together. Human beings in general are very gregarious. They enjoy community. They enjoy coming together. They enjoy collaborating. And they are much, much more successful when they have a collaboration mindset than they do when they have a competition mindset.
Gotcha.
So in any industry that you look at, if you look at really successful companies get successful by collaborating. And successful companies fall apart when they stop doing
that.
Yeah.
I can kind of think of some examples. Like you look at a lot of these companies, and they use celebrity figures as people who do their commercials for them. That's a form of collaboration.
Yep.
Because like, sure, the actor is getting paid for that, but the company's getting to benefit from that person's image for their advertising. I think that's just like a simple example of that. I'm sure there's other ways you can get it to work. Like, say, you said those experienced fix and flippers, they have people that they do their general contracting with over and over and over again. Like, they could like pit that general contractor against another general contractor to try to get a cheaper price every single time. But instead of doing that, they just give him constant work. And that allows them to stream flow their process and be successful. So,
Yeah, well, and you know, you're talking about stuff like that, like the value of someone you trust is worth far and above way more than you could ever put a price on. You know, so when you find somebody that you can trust, even if their price is a little higher, if you know, you could go beat somebody else up and take a lower price, you're not going to get the same quality of work as somebody who you've built a relationship with. You know,
well,
and that business relationship helps everyone grow.
gotcha. What occurs to my mind here is that if you're always trying to undercut your help, it's kind of like an entitlement. You know, like, I want your work without giving you compensation that's fair. Well, then what's going to happen is malicious compliance, right? They'll do the work, but they're not going to do their very best because they know that you don't think that they're worth that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a downward spiral in that direction.
Yeah, and there's an old saying that applies to tripping over dollars to pick up dimes.
Yeah.
All right. You know, you can nickel and dime everybody you meet, and all you're going to do is cost yourself. It's going to make it worse for you. You know, my brother has a saying that he really loves is nobody wants to work for a broke company.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true when you think about it. Nobody wants to work for a broke company because broke companies can't afford to give you anything. They can't afford to give you a raise.
That's the person that's going to come to you on Friday when your paycheck's due and say, "Hey, I can't afford payroll. I'm going to have to push it back."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So why am I working here? I need to go find something more stable. Like,
exactly. And a lot of people, they don't make this connection, but when you're working for somebody else or working with somebody else, your mindset should always be, how can I make that person more money?
Yeah.
Because if you make them more money, they will make you more money.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
So this is kind of an interesting thing to talk about because I've had the experience where I grew up with what you consider a scarcity mindset. Like, my family went through bankruptcy and we didn't have a lot for a long time. We ended up living in a hole in the ground for a while. And someone just kind of slapped a roof on top of an old water shed or like storage facility. And we lived in there for a couple of years. But then as I've joined this community that does all the real estate stuff under Pace Morby in the creative finance world, I've started to kind of get an idea that there's actually not just cost to things. Money, has a dollar value, but a lot of times things that are provided in a business or even just in like a relationship or a community are things that are worth more than mere dollars in that sense. So you have cost, you have the value you get for your cost, and maybe the things that you would trade to obtain those things. I don't know if I really articulate that very well because it's something that I'm still adjusting to. But now that I've started to look at things, I can see examples in my life where, like, if I bought $1,000 car, I was saving money in the short term, and that was my cost. But my true cost was actually a lot higher than that because $1,000 car ended up having repairs all the time. And by the time I got to where I needed to get a new car, if I went to go spend $1,000 again, I was just going to repeat that cycle. It was a lot more efficient to buy a $6,000 car and have it not be repaired all the time and have it last longer. And I actually saved money even though I paid more up front.
Yeah.
And so the value of the $6,000 car was more. And so it justified a higher cost in the short term.
Yeah. Every decision we make, everything that we purchase, everything that we do really comes with, I kind of split it into three different things, three different costs, right? You have your upfront cost, what you pay immediately for the decision. And this isn't just like purchases and stuff. This is every decision that you make. Every decision you make has these three things. It's the thing that you need to put into it to have it happen right now. It's the thing that you have to pay down the road, or that you have to do down the road to fix it later. And it's the cost of your time, right? The hidden cost is, cost of your time, your mental energy, your personal work, these things that nobody really thinks about, right? So, like the car, for instance, you spend $1,000 on a car, your upfront cost is the $1,000. Your down the road cost is repairs on the car, and your hidden cost is the amount of time that you have to spend finding a ride when your car doesn't work.
Yeah,
The amount of
just sitting in the
stress you
stupid
have to go
auto
through.
store.
Yeah, exactly. The amount of stress you have to go through dealing with the mechanic in the shop when it breaks down. The amount of stress that you have to go through when you break down on your way to work and you're 2 hours late for a meeting.
Yeah.
Because your car didn't work, right? Those are all costs, and it's all things that most people they don't ever think about it, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the $1,000 car isn't the right decision. It's just that nobody ever considers those things when they are actually thinking about the price of what they're getting, or the cost of the decision they're making.
It's like buying something that's on sale. You don't actually save money. You're spending the money of the sale.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't buy that thing, you
wouldn't have spent that money.
Spend that money.
Exactly. It's you don't understand. I bought 15 items that were all discounted 50%. That means I saved as much as I spent.
Yeah. Well.
Works.
Nope, not exactly. So what could you have bought if you hadn't bought those things? Or how could have those dollars made you more money in the long run? But it definitely takes a shift in your perspective, especially when you grow up with a lot of the lessons that we get taught in school, or maybe even the lessons that we aren't taught. Because I don't know about you, but when I went through school, the only thing that I remember really learning in financial classes in high school were, this is how you write a check, and you shouldn't spend.
You were taught how to write a check in school?
I'm dating myself, right?
I wasn't taught how to write a check in school. I learned that in Boy Scouts.
Yeah. That was the only thing I remember. Maybe like the fact that you need to have a budget, but not like how to write a budget.
Yeah.
I don't remember being told that. So
I took an accounting course, and all I learned is how to fill out a sheet.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know. It was a frustrating realization for me. There was one day that I realized I always thought I was kind of a smart guy, Maybe that's just my ego talking. But I turned to my wife one day and I was like, if that was really the case, I would understand money better. And I don't understand money very well. Because if I understood money, I wouldn't be looking for it all the time.
Yeah.
So, but.
Oh, and that's not necessarily a reflection on your intelligence. It's a reflection on our society's unhealthy relationship with money. Because there's what you're taught in school, there's what societal norms are, and then there's how everything actually works. And those are three very different things.
Yeah, I'm starting to see crazy things. Like I joined that community with the real estate investing, I'd say back at the end of July. And the number of things that I've learned about how money works has just blown my mind. just like interest arbitrage and how people can negotiate way things work in terms, and the fact that people take their debt and they use it to generate returns, and like the fact that debt isn't taxed. Like these are things I had no idea of 6 months ago. And so it's just been really interesting to start to see the curtain kind of get pulled back on how all the numbers work behind the scenes, and maybe start figuring out how to take advantage of how that all flows back and forth between the different people about the economy. That's the word I'm looking for. But hey, yeah, I've really enjoyed talking to you about this today, Mike. If you were to kind of distill things down into something simple, what would you suggest someone who is just barely starting to learn about stuff like this start with?
I would suggest start with. It depends on the type of personality you are.
Gotcha. So maybe identify yourself.
Different things are gonna be different for different people. So I would start with some self-discovery, figure out what kind of things it is that you like to do, because if you're somebody who loves talking to people on the phone, you just absolutely love that, then get on the phone, start calling realtors, start looking for deals, and then find somebody who's doing deals and bring them deals, and learn from them. That's a great way to start. If you don't like talking on the phone, I hate talking on the phone. It's the worst thing ever. I don't mind stuff like this. I love the video stuff where I can see people and kind of interact.
Yeah, it's a lot different when you have like that face to face.
It drives me crazy when I can't read somebody's body language or facial expressions on a phone call. And it's like nails on a chalkboard every time I talk on the phone with somebody.
Gotcha.
It drives me crazy. So I'm the last person that will ever volunteer to mass call people. I won't do it. I hate it.
Fair enough, man.
Absolutely despise it. So, for me, my thing that I found is I really enjoy helping people though.
Gotcha.
So I do podcasts. I do, this drop off your deals thing. I'm gathering information using whatever means I can. I send a lot of emails. I do a lot of video calls, do a lot of this kind of stuff. I gather information and I help people find deals,
Very cool.
So there's an infinite number of ways that you can get your hands on a deal. It all just depends on what works for you. So, find somebody that's doing something that you find interesting and ask them if you can tag along. Most of the time they'll say, yeah, sure. And if they don't, find somebody else that does it, because there's tons of them everywhere. There's tons of people that are doing stuff like I'm doing. There's tons of people
everybody
that
needs
are
help,
putting
right?
their own money into other people's deals. There's tons of people that are out there calling. There's tons of people that are closing deals every day. So it's really not hard to find something like that.
I think it's important that what you mentioned is you like to help people. Part of what I've found as I've tried to network and make connections is that it's good to lead with value. Don't just waste someone's time, because like if you're just detracting from their ability to get things done all the time, that's not fair to them either. Yeah. So like when you go to help people or find out what they're doing that like you think is interesting, find a way to make the thing they're doing easier.
Yeah.
And then they'll keep you around as long as you're doing something like that. There's no reason they wouldn't want you around. Yeah. You're making their life easier.
Yeah, exactly. I just actually went to a meetup with Pace. We saw each other there. It was great. And his one of the things that he talked about, he's like, you meet somebody, ask them 2 questions. Ask them, what do you have and what do you need?
What do you need?
So what do you have? What do you need? Those are 2 really simple questions, and everybody has things that they're doing, and everybody has things that they need.
And that opens up the door for you to figure out what you can work on. Exactly. And the more people you talk to, the more you'll be able to narrow in on the thing that you can really help with.
Yep. Exactly.
Very cool.
So,
Well, you know what? Thanks for coming on to the show today, Mike. I really appreciate you having here. I'm going to go ahead and have you share your social media handles so that people know where to find you and give you a follow. Where can people find you on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff? Mike?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. My handle is Mikey Ray Anderson. That's MikeyRayAnderson. And that's on both of them, no uppercases. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook there. We also have the Drop Off Your Deals website. If you want to do some deals with us, you can jump on there, and you can either jump in to put your money into people's deals, or you can bring us a deal that we'll see if we can find you a funding partner for.
I love it. Thanks a lot for your help there, Mike. And go ahead and look for Mike there on the Instagram and Facebook. And if you have a deal you want to find out about funding a deal for someone else, go ahead and find him at the Opportunity Alliance at dropoffyourdeals.com. And then just to end the show, you can find me on Instagram at Nathaniel_Opolis, and then on Facebook as Nathaniel Giovanni Opolis. And be sure to follow and subscribe to the Pot of Gold podcast, and we'll be able to answer any kind of questions you would like to submit in future episodes. And thanks for tuning in. Everyone have a great day.